Wicked Travel.
Let's go.
Who is our Wicked Traveler? Good morning, Wicked Traveler.
Hello.
It's Smriti with us, and she's been looking at us askance because we've been making all this noise, I tell you. But you know all about noise, don't you?
I do.
We are all in Delhi, and we all know about noise.
Very well. Too well.
You, of course, are going to tell us about your solo travel, about your blogs. You want to give us a brief introduction so that people's appetites are whetted, so to speak? Yes?
Absolutely. So Traveling Boots is the name of the blog name that I use while writing. The name comes from the song These Boots Were Meant for Walking, and that's just what they will do.
One of these days.
That too.
That too.
The stories are not really a to-do list. They're my personal experiences with people, with food, with culture, my afterthoughts sometimes, just everything. It's a mixture of everything. It has a lot of me and the place.
Excellent. So yes, if you've been traveling, remember, there's another way, and that's what we're going to show you right after this short little. We are not here to tell you just about rock and roll stories. We're going to tell you about a bit of wicked travel as well, because we got Smriti with us.
Wickedness. What it's best. Wicked Travel. Let's go.
How wicked has been your travel?
Very.
Very?
Very.
What's the wickedest story that you remember, Smriti?
The one that I can remember right away is this was Washington D.C. and you wouldn't expect a Washington D.C. to be a wicked place.
Sure.
Throughout the day, I went and saw all the perfect places and people behaving perfectly until the driver who was driving me back to my Airbnb apartment told me that if you really want to see the underbelly and the real Washington, you need to go to this place. And I did go to that place, and that's where this was a whole lane of a cultural explosion of music and food, and it's called the Adams Morgan Street.
Okay.
And oh my God, that evening was definitely the most wicked evening I had. When you say wicked, I think Washington D.C. It's inappropriate at so many levels, but it's Washington D.C.
I tell you, the next time you go to Washington D.C., think wicked. Go to
Adams Morgan.
That's where you need to go. And how do we know? Because Smriti is here. You have a blog.
Yes, I do.
You want to tell us the name?
Traveling Boots.
That's where you go and read these stories. Really nice to tell these stories to people, yeah?
It is.
Yeah?
It is. It's an experience being shared with someone else, and travel is the only knowledge, I think. It only makes your experience better when you share. Otherwise, if you just keep it to yourself, like in offices, you keep knowledge to yourself.
Yeah.
Travel is one knowledge you want to share because
Absolutely.
it just enhances the experience.
It's not chocolate cake. You don't eat it by yourself.
Yeah,
you share the other ones. It's like those tiramisu things that go bad and you can't finish it. Just share these stories. It's always nice.
Wicked Travel. Let's go.
We've got the incredible Smriti Shankar here with her incredible stories of travel. We were discussing this before we went on air about the fact that people don't really want to read the happy stories. They want to know exactly how you were suffering. Maybe because it helps them think maybe we are not traveling, hum nahi ghoom rahe, so why should she have all the fun while she's traveling? Do you think that holds true? Or you want to be diplomatic about it right now?
No. I think it just makes it more relatable because people do have fears about traveling solo.
Sure.
And when I do share a story that, things can go wrong, it becomes more relatable. Otherwise, it's just someone's story where everything is just going la la la.
Sure.
Just when you share a bad story, it just makes me, this is my assumption that it makes me more relatable because, things can go wrong, but all I want to say is that things can go wrong whether you travel in a group or people with security and all kinds of big cars and all kinds of sureties. If things have to go wrong, they will go wrong. And the best thing you can do at that point in time is don't waste your time crying about it. Just get up and think of the next possible best solution and try to get out of it. And that's it. But I think people find it easier to relate when it's a bad story. That's it.
So what are the trickiest places that you've been to off the top of your head?
Poland was tricky. My travel to Poland was very tricky because though I did have the train pass for an entire month, train rules are different in Poland. So I got stranded and I had to spend an entire night outside the toilet of the train because I thought I had a pass, but it wasn't valid on that train.
And you were traveling solo at that time?
Yes, I was. And I was crossing Auschwitz, which made the whole experience just sadder. I had to spend a night in a town and in a hostel which was already supposed to have 3 ghosts.
Wow.
And for some reason, the caretaker thought it was important for me to know while I was alone. Good thing to remember: when you book a hostel and it says a room with breakfast, they actually mean a room. It does not include a bathroom. So I had to stay in a haunted hostel where the toilet was a shared toilet. Spend the night there, and it was right next to a church where a girl hung herself. It was just all of it. Just series of unfortunate events that night.
This is like a stepping stone to misery, isn't it? It's like room, no toilet, ghosts, and there you are at your miserable most. And that is why traveling is wicked, and that is why we are telling you the stories right here.
Wicked Travel. Let's go.
Smriti Shankar, a strong advocate of solo travel. The blog is called Traveling Boots. You might want to read some of the stories there if you haven't already. But you'd recommend solo travel, yes?
I recommend it very highly. Like I was telling you even before that, our entire day, whether it's guy or girl or lady, woman, whatever, our entire day starts with pleasing everybody. From the moment we get up till the time we sleep, it's about pleasing someone. We get up for someone. We sleep because we have to get up the next day for someone else. But when you travel solo, it's all about you. It's a little bit of selfish time where you do everything to just please yourself. And that process of even trying to find out what you like, really. Are you really a beach person? Are you the kind of person who just wants to sit in a room and read a book or sit by the pool or I don't know, whatever. Sure. It's a whole process of a self-exploration, and that selfish time and even missing the people while you're away on your own
of course,
makes you come back and really enjoy everything else with a whole new perspective.
And you have perspective because for the sake of information and for nothing else, because it's beyond all of that what's happened to you, but just for the sake of information, what is it that had happened to you?
It was a series of accidents, Sarthak, and long story short, there were 8 accidents. The last one actually being in Bali, which was another great story, which will come up in a blog shortly. I have broken my leg. I have rods in my leg. I have a broken spine. There are a lot of things that I can't do physically. But what travel did for me was every time I'd go out there alone, nobody knew me. They didn't know about my history. They didn't know what my limitations were. And I didn't feel the need to tell them. And the whole process of not telling them and figuring out what else I can do was building me up to a whole new confidence. I suddenly stopped seeing the things that I can't do, and I started focusing on everything that I could still do, and the world was open to me.
Like riding
suddenly.
ostriches?
Yeah, like riding the ostrich or going deep sea diving or swimming with the sharks or, everything else crazy that I could do.
Sure.
And suddenly,
but there are limitations, right? You said you can't go to Leh because of the...
I can't because the oxygen gets really thin. So Leh I can't do. I can't do skiing. I can't do rock climbing. But everything else I can.
So yes, what's your excuse for not going? Sunscreen's not the right SPF level? Okay. You need to think. You really, really do need to think. Thank you very much for your time, Smriti. And Traveling Boots, that's the name of the blog, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You go there, you read the stories, you be inspired, or just think of travel and get out there and be with yourself. Learn to be with yourself a little more. I guess that'll make the world a better place, yeah?
You have to love yourself. An empty well cannot quench anyone's thirst.
Excellent. So yes, quench your thirst, I tell you. Wicked Travel is over, and Smriti has been with us. More music after a short little break.